I think I must have had a seizure or something. I don't know what was going on in my head. Hopefully my battery does not die. Hey, I'm Michelle from Michelle Loves Books. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to look at all the books that I have rated 5 stars and basically reevaluate my rating. I really only started rating books when I started booktube a couple of years ago. I didn't really have a system or a standard or a criteria for how I rated. I was just kind of like, And I feel like I'm much better read now too. I have a strong feeling that my opinion has changed quite a bit. I think especially recently, I have really been putting a lot more thought into why I rate certain things, what I want in a top rated book or a 5-star rating for a book. I find that I'm much more critical. So I can't remember every single book that I read that I rated 5 stars. I am just going to be pulling from Goodreads. I've already separated all the books I have read since 2018, since I started logging the books I read on Goodreads. Did that make sense? I feel like that didn't make sense. I haven't really started keeping track of all the books I read and participating in the Goodreads reading challenge until I started booktube. It sounds like it might be a whole lot of books. I don't know how long this video is going to be actually, but I will be like grouping series and kind of going over books I haven't really changed my opinion on very quickly, so it might not take as long as I think it might take. Let me know how you like this video because this might actually be a part of a series. I'm considering also reviewing my 4-star reads, my 3-star reads, and then like anything 2-star and below. There isn't a whole lot of those books actually, which is a good thing. Okay, so looking at this, see, I've already created shelves for all the books I rated 5-star. There are 83 books to talk about today. There's 62 in 4 stars, 53 in 3 stars, 12 in 2 stars. And I don't think I put, and I have only since recently I have created a DNF pile. So far, the DNF books are 13 books. Anyways, let's go ahead and open up the 5-star rated books. We are gonna actually reorganize these by date. We're gonna group all of these Sookie Stackhouse books together. Those are definitely solid 5-star books. Still, I love those books. Gone Girl. When I read it, I loved this book. I would probably, no, it can stay 5 stars. Even if it was overly dramatic, I still had a blast reading it, and sometimes that's all that matters. The Bells. That's gonna stay 5-star read. I really love that book. I want to do a reread because the next book is out. The Darkest Minds. I loved the first book. That can stay 5 stars. The Night Circus. That can stay 5 stars. That was excellent. Inherit the Stars. Another one that I think if I rated it, if I read it now, I don't know. I just had a blast reading this book when I read it at the time, but I was also really starved for just reading for fun. There's a lot of problems with this book. I think that I would probably move this down to a 4-star just because I had a lot of fun reading it and I really liked the characters. I really liked the subtlety of our love interest character, but the world building was horrible. Still, I had fun reading it. Vicious. That will stay a 5-star. That was really good. I would love to do a reread of that one. We're going to group all of the Luxe series books together. There's quite a bit on here, and they are all 5 stars for me. I love that series, and I listened to them all on audiobook, and I was immediately hooked. I have the first and second compendium. I think there's one more, but I would love to do a reread. Heartless. I loved this book. It was kind of hard getting into it. It was a little bit slower of a book, but I really loved this Alice in Wonderland retelling. It's actually a tale of the Queen of Hearts. Buffy the Vampire Slayer graphic novel. That can stay 5 stars. Buffy, of course. Winter Girls. This one could stay 5 stars. This was such a good book. This was probably one of the first times I read such a hard-hitting book. If you don't know, that book is about 2 girls with eating disorders and they are competing with each other for who can be the skinniest. Extreme trigger warning on that one. But really nice short book. It was, woo! Everything. I loved this book. Does it stay 5 stars though? Is it still a 5-star read? I feel like it was one of the first times I read a book like this, and what I mean by like this is this girl is basically, how do I explain this book without spoiling it? Basically, she cannot leave her house. She's like allergic to everything. She lives in a very sterile household. Her mother is a doctor. She's always been fine with the hand she's been dealt, but she meets this boy and falls in love with him, and it just changes everything. And she starts taking risks that she would not have taken, and it just boils over, and very, very good. I did not expect the ending at all. It was so good. It's kind of like, I don't know what you would call it, YA medical drama, I think, because since that book, there's been at least 2 others that I have read that kind of have the same cookie cutter, you know, beginning, middle, end. I guess that's not a problem per se. If I read this book today, and I'm not changing any of my ratings because that was my initial rating, but I would have probably maybe given this a 4-star or 4.5 stars. So still pretty high rating. The Delirium series, that will stay 5 stars for me. I just love the characters so much. I love the romance so much. There was a lot of leading up to our main characters really falling in love and having a deep connection. And you felt it, and I think that I appreciated that the most. I was really craving that kind of relationship build up. The next one is Everless, and honestly, I remember really liking it. I really like the concept. It's not really sticking with me though. I really can't remember if I liked the characters that much. I just know that they would basically trade in lives for currency. Not lives, they would trade in time off of their life, and they get put into these like little coins, and they would use that for currency. The rich people would take those coins of life and add on to their lives. So if you're poor and you have to continue to keep giving years off of your life, then you have a short life. Meanwhile, the rich people have really long lives. I like the concept, but it just didn't stick with me. I would probably give this one maybe a 3.5 stars. Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. Again, it didn't stick with me. I just remember this girl is like, she's locked up. She's kind of there by choice because she's afraid of her ability because she can touch people and kill people. I think it kind of threw me for a loop because Shatter Me, I kept thinking like shattering like glass or something, but I don't know. I think the writing style was very hard for a lot of people just because there's these moments where it's like, she's like in her head like going crazy kind of, which I kind of actually liked it. I was also listening to this on audiobook, and I wonder if it would have been a complete different experience if I had read the physical book. I did like the audiobook though, and I remember distinctly the narrator's voice was really good at reading this book. I don't think I would give it 5 stars though. I would have knocked it down probably to maybe 3 stars. 1,000 Splendid Suns. This book I read because of my friend, and she was like, you have to read this book, it's really good. So I did, and I really liked it. I really, really liked this book. It was shocking. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that story from this book. I didn't really know much going into it, but I did like it a lot. 5 stars though. Would I could give it 5 stars? Yes, because it's about, yes in a way. Yeah, we'll keep it 5 stars. The next one is Stalking Jack the Ripper. I would keep that 5 stars. I still love that book a lot. I have not continued on with the series though, and I keep not hearing the greatest things, and I think I'm afraid to ruin it for myself, and that's why I haven't really been motivated to read the next in the series. No, just kidding. I attempted to listen to the second book on audiobook, and I had a hard time getting into it because I think I just wasn't in the mood for an audiobook. So I gave up, but I haven't made a point to go back to it, so I don't know. The next one is Saga, definitely 5 stars, amazing graphic novel series. Have not really continued on with that series. I think I've just been distracted by a lot of other things. Lady Mechanica, such a good book. I love this one. Again, I haven't continued on with the series. I actually own this book, and they don't carry them at my library. They do carry them on Hoopla though, so I just have to check them out. But again, I just keep checking all these other things. But the artwork in it is like so good. I love like the steampunk style. The next one is Nevermoor by Jessica Townsend. This is such a cute book. I love this book, and I would love for my kids to read it. I don't know if they'd be so into it. 5 stars, I'll say 5 stars. Paper Girl series. I'm going to go ahead and group all of the Paper Girl series together. I think I'm totally caught up on that series, actually. I loved all of them so much. I think maybe the last one or second to the last one was not my favorite. But as a whole, they were all pretty much 5 stars. I think I rated them all 5 stars. The whole series, I just love it. Time travel, girls from the 80s. It's awesome. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is number 6. I don't know how I rated every single book. I kind of feel like they're all 5 stars. That's one that I didn't add all the books that I read because that one's like number 6. Obviously before that I read 1 through 5. They're not added to my Goodreads. Unless they're in another folder. They could be under the 4 stars. So maybe I didn't rate them all 5 stars. I don't know. Next page. There's more Paper Girls, Mortal Instruments series, the graphic novel. I really liked these. I love the artwork. I feel like it's kind of a mashup, a little bit of manga with kind of a different kind of art too. It's very unique in its artistic style. I really like that. Plus, I just love the Mortal Instruments series. So, Shadow and Bone. This whole series are 5 stars for me. That hasn't changed. This next one. Okay. To All the Boys I Loved Before. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I don't know. Like, I remember at the time, I really, really enjoyed it, but I went into it thinking, oh, I'm not going to finish this book. This is not my kind of reading. It's too, like, I don't know. Will it stay 5 stars? I mean, I can't deny the enjoyment I felt while reading it, but still, I would not do a reread of this book. I'm not going to read the rest of the series. I think it was addicting, like reality TV is addicting. But I don't like reality TV. Does that make sense? I don't know. I would definitely knock this down to probably 4 stars. Maybe 3.5. No. Yeah, 3.5. I'll give it 3.5. Okay, here we go. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, number 7. I did give that one 5 stars. Obviously, have to. The Selection series. We're going to go ahead and group those all together. Those were so addicting. I love those books. Not even going to lie. 6 of Crows, 5 stars. Crooked Kingdom, 5 stars. Still going to stay 5 stars. Hunger Games, 5 stars. That's going to stay 5 stars. The Darkest Star. This is like 5 years after the Luxe series. I loved this book. And that cover is just so beautiful. That's going to stay 5 stars. The Lumberjanes series, we're just going to group them all together. They are all so good. I love that series. So those are going to stay 5 stars. King of Scars, that's going to stay 5 stars as well. Catwoman. Ooh, okay. I really enjoyed it, but it's not sticking with me a whole lot. To be honest, I would probably knock this one down to like 4 stars. The Curiosities. This one made me cry so hard. There's a lot of things I really liked about this book. I would probably give this one like 4 stars as well. A Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Mist and Fury. And A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's going to stay 5 stars. Scythe. That's going to stay 5 stars. City of Bones. That's going to stay 5 stars. I Hate Fairyland. The whole series. Do I need to say it? I love that series. Nimona. This one's a graphic novel. I loved this one so much. Summer Days and Summer Nights. This is a short story collection, one of the first short story collections I have ever read. So good. I loved every single story in this book. There might have been some that didn't really stick with me, but there's a couple in there that I really, really liked. I think actually Leigh Bardugo has a story in there. Her story was one of my favorite stories. She did like a creature feature, Cassandra Clare, Libba Bray. I think it must have been Stephanie Perkins' story. Anyways, they were all really good. I loved this book. I really want to read this one again. Skyward, that's the whole series, so good. I do need to like see if there's any more books to that series. I think I read the first 3 or 4. Let me see. Okay, I guess I am caught up on this series. They need to write some more of those because they're so good. The Winters. This one was so good. I actually received an ARC of this book, but I ended up listening. I didn't read it before publication. And it's kind of a Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It's like that. It's kind of like a retelling, a modern retelling of that book, I think. Very good. I liked it a lot. I actually liked it much better than I liked Rebecca. Mother-in-Law was such a good book. Those stay 5 stars for sure. Pumpkinheads is just an all-around feel-good book. It's so good. Definitely keeps 5 stars. Be Prepared. That's one of my top books of the year. Turn of the Key, such a good book. 5 stars, that's going to keep it. The Tattooist of Auschwitz, that's going to stay 5 stars. Giant Days, I love this series too. I don't know if it's actually 5 stars for me though. I really, really enjoy it, and it's just not the same enjoyment as some of the other books that I give 5 stars to. I feel like the first volume was the best, but I've only read the 2 volumes as well. Bad Beginnings, I gave this one 5 stars. I don't think it would stay 5 stars. I don't know. I think I was really shocked by how dark it was. I would probably give this one 4 stars. Giant Days, I didn't actually say. Probably 3.5 to 4 stars for Giant Days. Not that it isn't like amazing, and I still want to read all of them. City of Girls. That one was so good. That was another one of my top books. The Lookalike. Okay, this one I gave 5 stars. I read it in one sitting. I ate that shit up. But it's not 5 stars. It's not. It's not that good. I would probably give it 3 stars. It was solid. It was entertaining. Obviously, it kept my attention. Yeah, that's all. House of Earth and Blood, 5 stars. Yes. That's gonna stay. A Curse of Dark and Lonely. Okay, I ate that shit up. But it's not 5 stars. Honestly, like, I was so addicted to it. I loved it. Oh my goodness, when I read it. But then, like, not even a month later, I was like, no, I don't know what I was thinking. I would probably give this book like 3.5, 4 stars to be generous. As much as I loved it, it did not stick. How weird is that? Also, I think the ending, I don't know. Oh, and I started the next one, A Heart So Fierce and Lonely. I don't know. I'm just like, I fell out of interest really, really quickly. And that was when I was still on the high of thinking that book was like so good. But no, City of Heavenly Fire. I gave that book 5 stars. I'm really surprised. That one was so long and not a whole lot actually happened. There's a lot of going back and forth with the drama, which I feel like it took me like so long to get through it too. And I hated the Jason Clare thing. The one thing that happened between them, I hated it. I wouldn't give that. I would probably, this will be the first one that isn't a 5-star book in the series for me. And the first like 9 books for me. No, just kidding. The Princess one. That one's not 5 stars for me either. I would probably give this one, I felt like a lot of it was really rushed and I had to take too many things at face value, and I really did not like that. I would probably give this one 3.5 stars, probably. Dead Poet Society. Loved that book. I really want to get a copy of this book. I read it on ebook, but I want a copy to annotate, to hold and touch and feel. Truly Devious, Hand on the Wall. What the heck? Where's the second book? Okay. Oh, maybe I didn't give that one 5 stars. Because they should have been bam, bam, bam. The first one and the third one are 5 stars. They're going to stay that way. It's really good. Ninth House by Liga Bardugo. What the fuck was I thinking? This book was terrible. The first time I hated it, and that's literally when I rated it. Like, I hated it, and then I gave it 5 stars. I think I must have had a seizure or something. I don't know what was going on in my head. Then I read it a second time, and I was like, okay. I didn't hate it as much as the first time, and I could appreciate a lot of things, and I actually figured out what the hell was going on. But I just had a whole lot of writing problems that were hard to ignore. I ended this book with 3 stars. I think I am actually going to change my rating on this one, and that's it. I had 83 books that I rated 5 stars. Okay, the ones I initially rated high, but I decided I would change my rating. Ninth House, City of Heavenly Fire, Curse of Dark and Lonely, The Lookalike, Bad Beginnings, Giant Days, The Curiosities, Catwoman, To All the Boys I Loved Before, Delirium Short Stories, 1,000 Splendid Suns, That one's really hard. I feel like that's maybe among the ones that I probably just wouldn't put a rating on. I don't know. Is that even a real story or is it fiction? But it's based on a real story, right? And you just can't rate that kind of thing. And the book was very well written. I might start a folder for ones that I don't rate, that I just don't feel comfortable putting a rating. Shatter Me, Everless, Everything, Inherit the Stars, and that's it. So 15 books out of 83 books I would not have rated as highly as I did. So what do I want out of a 5-star book? I feel like, as I said, I feel like I have a much clearer idea of what I want out of a 5-star book. I don't always have to have perfect writing. If the book is so good, you know, I don't care about all that stuff. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye.